Folks, your OS reviews. You're watching our video review of the KDLINKS A200. This is a smart Android TV box or a smart media box that you hook up to an HD television or a standard television and converts your TV into a monitor for an Android experience. And it's great for watching videos, watching streaming videos from Hulu Plus, from Netflix, from YouTube, and you can also use it to play back games, playback 3D videos, and essentially it's a fully functioning media box that can be again used on your television screen. So it's a bit more convenient than hooking up a tablet or a smartphone or a PC for that matter, because it's going to be permanently hooked up without the need to always remove it and be on the go. The A200 series model is slightly a upgraded version from the A100 series model and provides slightly higher end specs and also a bit more features in the packaging. Notably, you have the ability to plug in some internal hard drives onto this model, so in addition to reading back full SD cards and also having USB ports for you to plug in external hard drives and also USB sticks if you have any programs or text files, you can also put in internal hard drives on here from desktops and the such, so it can actually read back information from internal drives that you have content stored on, such as multimedia files. So it's going to be very, very unique because I have never seen yet a Android TV box with this particular feature, which is quite interesting. Now, it's a bit more expensive than the A100 series models because it has, again, a bit more features, but it's still pretty relatively inexpensive as far as Android TV boxes go and can be found on Amazon.com or from KDLINKS website directly. Inside the packaging, you also have access to an interesting wireless remote that includes a keyboard on the back, so it's really easy to enter your text, and this particular model also features a built-in external LCD display, which we'll see in a moment. Some features of this product include 3D recognition, so you can stream 3D video. There's HDMI supported, and also have Dolby for sound quality, so very, very good sound quality. There's that motion controller included, and there's also, you have DTS for digital output, and it supports 1080p Full HD resolution. Pretty professional packaging. It's a pretty large packaging due to the fact you have so much in the box, but again, it runs on Android 4.2 Jelly Bean, and you also have access to a full web browser on here that supports Flash, 1080p, and also supports a Ethernet port in case you don't have Wi-Fi. And there's some more information about the design, some applications that you can use. It also actually has 1 GB of internal DDR3 RAM, has a ARM Cortex-A9 processor, that again, it's a dual-core processor chipset, and also you have a quad-core GPU, so pretty good for gaming, pretty impressive performance should be expected from this thing. So let's take a look at what's actually in here. Pretty interesting that there is actually a handlebar for this packaging. But we can take this open like so, and inside we will find access to a quick thank you note from the product manager at the company, and you have access to some more detailed information about how to upgrade the device, how to set it up. And finally, we have access to the actual Android A200 smart box itself, which we'll take a look at in a moment, and in a separate container we have access to the accessories. Taking a look at the accessories first, again, it's a regular box. We have access to a full user's manual for the AM02 Smart Media Controller, which actually we've already reviewed this particular wireless remote, and you can check it out on our separate review down in a link below. But essentially it has a full QWERTY keyboard on the back, so it makes text entry extremely simple, in addition to a standard control on the front for you to wirelessly navigate your device and your cursor. And there's also access to the standard Android applications like home, menu, and volume directly on the device. We also have access to a standard remote, which is not as fancy, takes AAA batteries in the back, but it still works pretty responsively, which we'll see in a moment. But again, you don't have the built-in keyboard, so not as great for entering text. And also you have access to the user's manual for the actual Android box itself, and it's printed in monochrome black and white and includes graphics for how the device can be set up. And finally, there's access to a USB 3.0 cable for you to connect the device to a computer for syncing data, which is very nice. Also, you have access to the AC adapter, a pretty large adapter, but you plug it into the wall so that the device receives power and you can turn it on. And also you have access to a mini USB cable for extending the accessories, actually for charging the AM02 wireless remote controller with. So it takes it's a rechargeable lithium-ion battery for the remote with a QWERTY keyboard on the back. So it's what you need to actually fully charge the device with. And this is actually a USB that you need to plug into your device in order for the wireless remote controller, the AM02, or the one with the QWERTY keyboard on the back to actually work, you need to plug this into the Android box first. There's also access to a full HDMI cable that's coated with gold for a very tight connection that allows you to plug in and have the signal out feature work with your Android Smart Media Box. So over here we have access to the device itself. It's well protected in layers of bubble wrap, as you can see here. And inside we have access to the device itself. Again, it's crafted out of plastic and metallic materials, so it has a pretty interesting and nice feeling as far as design is considered. If we peel back this protective seal, we can see how the front is dominated in this very glossy piano black finish, which is quite attractive even though it's going to attract a bit of fingerprints and dust pretty easily. The side here we have access to the actual LCD display, which can be better seen when the product is turned on, and we have a power on and off switch. On the left-hand corner we have access to that internal hard drive slot, so you again essentially put your hard drive in there. And on the back there's access to an antenna for the Wi-Fi. You have some standard connections if you don't have an HD television also for the audio. You have a LAN for wired internet connection, an optical jack for audio out, an HDMI adapter, a AC adapter, and also a micro USB cable, so for putting in more wires. And on the right hand side there's a SD card reader, 2 more USB connectors for reading back flash drives and also hard drives, and also you have that USB cable for syncing information with a PC. So again, a very fully functional design, overall pretty attractive, even though this is going to be larger than your standard Android box. So it's going to take up a bit more desk space whenever you're putting it down in your living room, but it still is a pretty classy piece of UI experience of the KDLINKS A200 Android TV box is pretty fascinating, and that's because it creates something that's very simplistic to use and also to see visually. It's not as complex as a vanilla build of Android would be, and that's a good thing on a device like this because it keeps things simple and also allows you to use your remote left and right keys to cycle through the applications that you want to use the most. The actual screen here is actually bare. It's not going to display any information. You can't customize it with any widgets or icons either. Instead, there's just a simple analog clock on the right-hand corner in addition to weather, time, date information. It's a bit small for our taste because the screen could be a little bit larger to take up, so it's a bit easier to see when you're sitting on your sofa, but overall still pretty usable. On the bottom here, there's a row of applications that take you to the internet. They also have an application for the settings. In addition to applications, there's a movie player, a music player, a photo manager, and also a regular file manager. So if we clicked on the actual App Store, you can see that you have quite a few interesting applications pre-installed by KDLINKS. Instead of going with just one web browser, and the native one is built in here by Google, there's also a Dolphin web browser built in by the manufacturer. And Dolphin web browser does a slightly better job at playing back streaming video, so if you do want to use the device to play back Hulu Plus or Netflix directly from Hulu's website, it's a great option to go with because it supports more complex Flash elements, and speeds are pretty much comparable to the original Google created web browser for the product. So it's interesting that the manufacturer gave you 2 options, and it certainly is a nice touch. Otherwise, there's not much bloatware going on here, which is a good thing. Essentially, there's basically access to a Flash player, your gallery, your basic Google services like your Play Store for downloading more games, applications, and also a basic weather reader and weather information app, and a sound recorder. But otherwise, the manufacturer has basically just built in one for the Wi-Fi indicator, one for the XBMC interface, which we'll discuss in a moment. There's also one for a camera, even though there is no camera built in. You can install a webcam by plugging into the USB port. There's also a DTV application that allows you to actually create AirPlay experiences, so you can wirelessly connect a phone or a tablet to your device and stream content from your phone or tablet onto your television screen, which is pretty impressive. And essentially that's it. Now, the interesting thing about the XBMC is that essentially it's another kind of version of Android that goes on top of basically what you already see here. So it's another skin on top of Android, which is a bit confusing, but we'll take a look at that in a moment. So if we wanted to click on here, you can see how it toggles us into the media interface, and essentially, like I said, it's another version of a skin on top of Android that you can select from. In this version, we have access to videos, to music, to programs, and to system, and also these different managers. It's pretty easy to use. It slides left and right. It's a very nice transitions and fancy animations going on. But due to the fact that this is a pretty speedy experience, it has a pretty fast chipset as far as processor and RAM. Everything seems to be catching up very well. We rarely experience any lag at all on the system, which was very impressive. So again, this is just a bit more for moderation. If you don't like the one that you saw before, here's another skin that you can customize on your device that comes bundled by the manufacturer. So kind of interesting, there's another secondary layer here. So we can press on home here just to kind of cycle out of that, and it takes us back to the traditional screen, which is this one here. Other applications are pretty minimalistic. There's a drop-down drawer over here that you can click on that allows you to change the volume, allows us to change the view you want to see things, notifications. There's also a home key that takes you, again, back home. And essentially there's also one for the volume down below here. So it's an interesting look and interesting visual appeal with semicircles and curves going on. So as far as the UI is considered, I am a fan. I think it's simplistic, but also customizable, and it keeps things in terms of graphics quite large, so it's easy to see. Wi-Fi connection and range is also quite good, and the remote is again pretty sensitive, so we never really had an issue as far as the device being unresponsive. You can see how app transitions are very fast, and playing back videos is going to be pretty fast of an experience. Audio quality is definitely great. We can search up our video here on the top. Simply by pressing it up. And the best thing about this product is that it comes with a built-in keyboard on the remote, so it's very easy to input text, unlike some other Android boxes out there. So it's a fast way to input text. Over here you can see I have access to some description boxes and related videos, and our video almost loads instantaneously. There's some more information about the video down below here. We can play, pause, and take it to full screen. We can also scrub the video because the Wi-Fi is very fast. So you can see we can scrub it, and it's almost instantaneous in playing back different parts of our video. So very good as far as playing back streaming content is considered. Of course, since you do have access to the full Google Play Store, you can download basically unlimited applications, including the official Hulu, the official Netflix, the official BBC, and also these different CNN news sites that basically allows you to transform this product into a streaming media player or a streaming video player, so you can play back news feeds and entertainment videos directly and stream it onto your device. And those work pretty well, just like on YouTube. They're fast, they're instantaneous, and you can watch 1080p videos without a hiccup. So it's very great at playing back those files. Otherwise, again, you can still download some games that you can want to play back, and the GPU seems to do a pretty good job of handling those tasks. It doesn't seem to stutter or slow down too much, so it's a pretty fast response time and overall pretty responsive as far as the performance of the product is considered. Taking a look at the web browsing experience, we're just going to take a look at the native browser and see how that fares. Again, it's just going to jump us into the native one included. Flash content is already supported on the actual normal browser here. So we wanted to go to New York Times, for example. It's going to load the mobile site first, but we can then quickly load the full site if we wanted to. Sometimes there's a bit of slowdown here and there because it doesn't have a Snapdragon chipset or anything like that. But for the most part, if you're sitting on your couch for watching some videos, streaming some content, it still does a great job of doing that. You can see how graphics load very well. You still have access to all your video content on the right-hand side there after the device fully loads. And overall, it's a fairly impressive experience if you start using it. And text definitely reflows itself, so it's definitely readable and intuitive system to use overall. Finally, we're just going to end on taking a look at the actual device's settings and see how the device really stacks up to what it says on the spec sheet. So we can simply tap on there. It's going to take us to our settings. Interesting transitions going on. So for example, we can take a look at storage on top here. And it says that indeed we have about 2-3 gigs of storage built in. You can also, of course, expand it via a SD card. And finally, we can take a look at the Android system, which is 4.2.2, which is Jelly Bean. And you can see that icons and graphics are pretty bright, they're pretty vibrant, and they do a pretty good job. So the GPU is definitely up to the task of playing back games and streaming video, which is going to be the two main tasks you want to do on this device other than browsing the web. So overall, a pretty good experience as far as performance is considered. One can also see that the Android A200 box by KDLINKS also provides a nice LCD display on the product itself that you can see when you're in the home screen, whenever you're using the product. It transitions and tells you where you are. So it's a secondary display system that works quite well. So you can see we're cycling through applications right now, and it works quite nicely, and it takes you through that experience quite well. And even if you shut it down or loading an application, it's going to support that and show you that, just because it also dubs as a hard drive reader or an internal hard drive reader that you can use by plugging it into a PC. The KDLINKS A200 digital media box is certainly a very attractive option if you need something with a lot of processing power that's great for playing back games, great for streaming HD videos, and great for browsing the web. It also provides a unique internal hard drive reader for expanding and taking in new videos and data, which is something that not many other Android boxes on the market currently offer. So this is a plus on this particular system. Again, performance is very responsive. We're impressed by the cleanness of the overall UI. It takes a bit of acclimation to get used to, but overall we do like the semi-vanilla build of the system. It's clean, it's efficient, it's fast, and we had little, we didn't have much irresponsiveness when actually navigating through the system. Overall, it's a great device to get. It offers pretty good construction quality, has a very shiny material on the front, and has a complete package in terms of the connection ports on the sides. So if you are looking for a high-end Android TV media box, this is certainly a great option to consider. Thanks for watching this video review here at OS Reviews. This has been the KDLINKS A200 Android TV Media Box.